and provide a home.
Whether it's on news broadcasts, award performances, or live game shows, live TV often delivers the unexpected.
And if you want something to happen to you on a...
From Steve Harvey's famous mix-up during the Miss Universe announcement,
I have to apologize.
to Madonna's unexpected fall during her Living for Love performance at the Brit Awards, these epic fails will leave you laughing, cringing, and utterly captivated. Buckle up and get ready for a wild ride through broadcasting's most unforgettable blunders as we dive into the top 25 live TV fails. Number 25. Eating floor grape nuts. In a memorable live TV moment, weatherman Scott Haney took the 5-second rule to an unexpected extreme. During a live broadcast, he noticed what looked like grape nut cereal scattered on the studio floor. Unfazed, Haney casually snacked on the mystery crumbs as his fellow anchors looked on in bemusement.
Clean up.
There.
Oh.
However, his face quickly soured as he realized something wasn't quite right. Later in the show, he sheepishly confessed that what he had eaten wasn't grape nuts at all.
It's on the bottom of my shoe, and I thought it was grape nuts, and it's cat vomit.
But rather cat vomit he had unknowingly tracked in on his shoes. The soggy cereal-like bits had actually been expelled by his cat and stuck to the soles of his shoes. The revelation caused a mix of laughter and horror in the studio, as Haney owned up to the stomach-turning mistake with a grin. Despite the odd on-air snack, he managed to maintain his composure and continued with the forecast. The moment became both a funny and revolting reminder that live TV can be unpredictable. Number 24. Guy mistaken for expert. In one of the most entertaining cases of mistaken identity ever captured on live TV, Guy Goma found himself in an unexpected spotlight. Goma had been waiting in the main reception area of the BBC television centre for a job interview as a data support cleanser. Meanwhile, British technology expert Guy Cuny was in another reception preparing for a live interview on the Apple computer versus Apple Core court case. When a producer asked the receptionist where Guy was, she mistakenly pointed to Goma. In a rush, and with only 5 minutes to spare, the producer, who had only seen a photo of Cuny, led Goma to the News 24 studio. Goma was given makeup, wired up with a microphone, and seated in front of the cameras. Despite his confusion, he thought it was all part of the job interview. As interviewer Karen Bowerman introduced him as tech expert Guy Cuny, a visibly shocked Goma realized the mix-up. Rather than making a scene, he played along, attempting to answer questions about the lawsuit and its implications for the music industry.
This does really seem to be the way the music industry is progressing now, that people want to go onto the website.
Somehow, he managed to deliver convincing, if general, responses. Although Goma didn't secure the IT job afterward, the bizarre incident led to future TV appearances where he could finally show up prepared. Number 23. Anthea Turner's accident. In the late 1980s, TV presenter Anthea Turner was the lively host of the children's program Up to You. One fateful day, she was on location covering a military pageant by the British Armed Forces. As part of the live broadcast, a motorcycle stunt with explosive pyrotechnics was planned.
And if you want something to happen to you on a...
Turner was perched on the back of a truck, ready to deliver her segment, when miscommunication resulted in a terrifying accident. Pyrotechnics suddenly erupted in her face, engulfing her in flames. Families watching from home were horrified as the scene unfolded, not knowing how badly Turner was hurt. She suffered numerous burns and temporary hearing loss, and the trauma was felt across the nation. The accident prompted Turner to sue the BBC, and she won the lawsuit after proving negligence on the broadcaster's part. Despite the ordeal, she later returned to TV and continued her successful career. Number 22. Beagle takes studio by storm. When it comes to unpredictable TV partners, animals can be some of the toughest to handle, as weatherman John Ziegler found out when Griffey, a lively beagle, took the studio by storm. During a live forecast, Griffey insisted on playing fetch.
You could see the winds really strong out of the southwest. Oh gosh, you really want to play.
His eyes locked on Ziegler in pure excitement. The playful pup darted around the studio.
Do it. Okay, hi bud. All right, we are seeing some light winds and
Eagerly bringing the toy back for another throw, even bumping into the green screen in his enthusiasm. Ziegler quickly gave in, tossing the toy to keep Griffey entertained while he continued his forecast. But this only encouraged the beagle further, and Griffey kept returning for more. The studio filled with laughter as the weather report took a back seat to Griffey's boundless energy. Despite smiling throughout, you could see Ziegler becoming progressively worn down as the dog's playful antics wore on, leaving him to manage the sudden storm of energy. Number 21. Reporter hit by a car. In January, a frightening moment unfolded on live TV when reporter Tori Yorgi was providing an update on a water main development in Dunbar, West Virginia. Just as she was about to deliver her report, a car unexpectedly hit her, knocking her off her feet. Thankfully, the driver was moving slowly, and Yorgi escaped serious injury, though she was clearly shaken. The driver, confused by the roadwork and extremely apologetic, quickly checked on Yorgi. In a stunning display of professionalism, Yorgi assured viewers she was okay and even continued her broadcast, picking up where she left off as if nothing had happened. This was despite having to set up her own camera and manage everything solo. Although she later went to the hospital as a precaution, the only thing Yorgi was diagnosed with was being an absolute pro. Number 20. Grammy reporter mixes words. Serene Branson, a Grammy reporter covering the 2011 Grammy Awards, delivered one of the most talked about live TV fails when she stumbled over her words. Standing outside the glamorous event, Branson confidently began her report but quickly became tongue-tied. Her speech turned garbled and incomprehensible, leaving viewers puzzled as she spoke in an unintelligible manner. With her speech slurring and mixing together in odd ways, it was clear that something had gone wrong. Branson's conviction suggested she was typically a consummate professional, and this error was more than just a simple slip of the tongue. It was later reported that she had experienced a migraine, which likely affected her ability to speak coherently. Despite this frightening incident, Branson recovered gracefully, and her professionalism shone through. Number 19. Richard Belzer and Hulk Hogan. In the mid-1980s, actor Richard Belzer was hosting his cable talk show, Hot Properties, when he decided to bring some wrestling flair onto his set. To promote the inaugural WrestleMania event, he invited stars Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. Belzer, always up for a bit of theatrics, asked Hogan to demonstrate a wrestling move. The muscular wrestler obliged and put Belzer in a chinlock. But Hogan's playful display turned into something much more serious. Hogan held the hold a little too tightly, and within seconds, Belzer was unconscious. As the crowd watched in stunned silence, Hogan casually let Belzer's limp body fall to the ground. After a few tense moments,
word from you-know-who.
Belzer regained consciousness and tried to brush it off with a joke, but it was clear that he was hurt, with blood trickling down the back of his head. The incident didn't end there. Belzer sued Hogan for an undisclosed sum and later purchased a farmhouse in France with the settlement money, aptly naming it Chez Hogan. Number 18. Madonna's Brit Awards fall. Madonna's 2015 Brit Awards performance of Living for Love was meant to be a high-energy spectacle, complete with dazzling choreography and dramatic wardrobe changes. Dressed in a flowing black cape, she stood poised on a staircase while her dancers gathered around her. The plan was for one of them to pull the cape off, revealing her glamorous black and red outfit underneath. But things took a dramatic turn when the cape was tied too tightly around her neck. As the dancer gave the cape a firm tug, it didn't release as intended. Instead, it yanked Madonna backward, causing her to tumble down the stairs and hit her head on the stage. The fall left her with whiplash, but the Queen of Pop proved her mettle. Without missing a beat, she quickly stood up and continued her performance like nothing had happened. It was an impressive display of professionalism and resilience, captivating the audience and earning her praise for her unshaken composure. The unexpected mishap became one of the most memorable moments in Brit Awards history, reminding everyone that even the biggest stars aren't immune to live TV fails. Number 17. Under the influence. BBC correspondent Quentin Somerville got a little too close to his report while covering a highly exclusive story in the Middle East. Behind him, a massive pile of narcotics, 8.5 tons of heroin, opium, hashish, and other drugs, burned in a dramatic bonfire. Somerville aimed to deliver a serious segment about the drug destruction, but things quickly took an unexpected turn. After only 5 seconds of recording, the fumes wafting from the burning drugs started to affect him. His composure gave way to uncontrollable laughter,
burning behind me,
which he tried to rein in with each new attempt. But with every attempt, the giggles returned, even infecting the cameraman as smoke swirled around them. Somerville repeatedly tried to regain control, only to be overwhelmed by a fit of the giggles, unable to stop laughing long enough to complete his report. Though the laughter may have been influenced by the drug fumes, the result was genuinely hilarious. The failed segment showcased a lighter, unintended side of journalism and became a viral sensation. Number 16. The completely wrong clip. In the world of live television, the devil is in the details, especially when it comes to video editing. Anchor Pat Murphy learned this the hard way during a sports segment meant to update viewers on the condition of NFL player Kevin Everett. Everett, a tight end for the Buffalo Bills, had recently suffered a severe spinal injury, but Murphy had good news. Everett could move his arms and legs again. However, as he shared the uplifting update, the broadcast cut to a courtroom clip featuring a completely different man in a wheelchair. The baffling and highly inappropriate clip played for several uncomfortable seconds before the newsroom cut away, realizing it was the wrong video entirely.
That's the wrong video, by the way.
Murphy held his composure like a true professional and completed his report smoothly, though he must have felt the tension behind the scenes. The ill-timed clip didn't just miss the mark, it completely derailed an otherwise positive update on Everett's recovery. It's safe to say that the mix-up likely resulted in a stern reprimand for someone in the editing room. Number 15. Flaming arrows. During a live quarterfinals performance on America's Got Talent, stuntman Ryan Stock and his fiancée Amber Lynn Walker attempted a stunt that was as daring as it was dangerous. Stock swallowed a steel rod with a target at the end, which protruded from his mouth, while Walker aimed a flaming arrow at it, ready to make a fiery bullseye. But as millions of viewers watched anxiously, the flaming arrow strayed from its intended path and struck Stock directly in the throat. Grimacing in pain and hurriedly patting away potential flames, Stock attempted to keep his composure. The judges, audience, and home viewers were frozen in silent worry, unsure how badly he was hurt. Host Nick Cannon stepped in to reassure everyone that Stock was okay, although visibly shaken by the close call. Number 14. News lessons. Few things are more awkward than suddenly finding yourself working under someone who once reported to you. During a live broadcast, viewers witnessed a cringeworthy exchange between anchor and former boss Jim Ryan and his ex-subordinate-turned-boss, Ollie North, sparring on air. The tension crackled as they traded barbs, creating one of the most uncomfortable live TV fails ever. It began when Ryan threw a snide remark toward North, suggesting he'd teach him how to be a reporter later. North fired back, saying Ryan wasn't even present to properly gauge the scene. Ryan then snapped that he could provide lessons on editing because he used to be North's boss. North took the dig in stride, quipping that while Ryan was once in charge, he no longer was, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, stunned by the schoolyard-style taunts unfolding in real time. Despite the unprofessional exchange, it made for riveting TV as the two seasoned journalists squabbled in a public spat that blurred the line between news and reality show drama. Number 13. Milli Vanilli ruin their own careers. In the late 1980s, German R&B duo Milli Vanilli were riding high on the charts. Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus had won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist and enjoyed 5 top 5 hits in the United States. But their meteoric rise came crashing down on July 21, 1989, during a live MTV performance. While singing their hit, Girl You Know It's True, a technical glitch caused the song to skip repeatedly, exposing that Morvan and Pilatus were lip-syncing. As if that wasn't enough, Charles Shaw soon came forward with a bombshell claim. He, not Morvan or Pilatus, had sung on their debut album. The scandal unraveled quickly from there. Producer Frank Farian confirmed the allegations, revealing that Morvan and Pilatus were mere frontmen who hadn't sung a note on their records. The fallout was swift and brutal. Milli Vanilli was stripped of their Grammy Award, and Farian fired the duo, effectively ending their career. Their second album was scrapped, and plans for a comeback never materialized. The incident remains one of the most notorious live TV fails, marking the end of an era for Milli Vanilli as the truth of their lip-syncing fiasco was laid bare, casting them out of the limelight and into infamy. Number 12. Baby Elephant. Kenyan elephants had a challenging 2022 as East Africa's worst drought in decades devastated the population. But journalist Alvin Kaunda's segment at an elephant orphanage brought viewers a dose of hope and levity. While reporting on baby elephants being cared for due to the drought, Kaunda stood with composure as a curious trunk explored him. He maintained his focus even as the young elephant inspected his jacket, hair, and microphone with its inquisitive trunk. But when it finally reached his face,
and provide a home.
Kaunda couldn't contain his laughter. The trunk tickled his nose, and he burst into giggles. Though the elephant's antics interrupted his delivery, it turned an otherwise somber segment into a moment of lightheartedness. The clip quickly went viral, showing the softer side of conservation efforts and winning over viewers worldwide. Number 11. Edits required. In the high-stakes world of live TV, editing applies not just to video, but also to script transitions. During a broadcast of CBS 5 Eyewitness News, anchor Ken Bastida showed just how crucial these edits are. He began the segment by noting, "Dana is off tonight."
Dana is off tonight.
Referring to his co-anchor, before immediately diving into the evening's lead story about a recent homicide. The transition was so abrupt that it left viewers stunned and confused, as it seemed like Bastida had just announced his co-worker had been murdered and set on fire while celebrating his birthday. With no mention of the actual victim's name and a seamless jump from the absence of Dana to the grisly crime, the slip left many thinking the worst about Bastida's colleague. A few moments later, the victim's name and picture appeared on screen, clearing up the confusion. But the initial shock lingered. Had the script included a simple reread or clearer transition, it would have saved the newsroom a lot of unnecessary panic. Number 10. The Max Headroom Incident. On November 22, 1987, thousands of Chicagoans settled down to watch their favorite TV shows, but instead witnessed one of the most bizarre live TV incidents in history. At 9:14 p.m., WGN-TV's evening news was abruptly interrupted by a pirate broadcast featuring a mysterious figure in a Max Headroom mask. The intruder swayed back and forth in front of a revolving corrugated metal backdrop, echoing the digital world of the Max Headroom character. This unsettling signal hijacking lasted almost 20 seconds before the station regained control. But the strangeness wasn't over yet. 2 hours later, at 11:20 p.m., WTTW's broadcast of Doctor Who was also hijacked. This time, viewers were treated to a longer and more elaborate display, lasting 1.5 minutes. The masked figure, still donning the eerie Max Headroom disguise, delivered disjointed messages, sang snippets of songs, and used crude props. Middle fingers were shown, and at one point, he even revealed his bare behind before disappearing. Despite the Federal Communications Commission's investigation, the hackers behind the Max Headroom incident were never caught. Number 9. Manchester United are rubbish. In May 2022, BBC News was providing a routine tennis update when a rogue ticker message grabbed the attention of every Manchester United fan.
Making a comment about Manchester United, and I hope that Manchester United fans...
The words, "Manchester United are rubbish," scrolled across the bottom of the screen, leaving viewers perplexed and Red Devils supporters understandably outraged. The BBC quickly apologized for the gaffe, explaining that it was not an official stance, but rather an unfortunate accident. The text had been typed by someone training to use the ticker system, not expecting it to go live. Despite its innocent intent, the mistaken broadcast triggered widespread amusement, frustration, and a torrent of jokes across social media. While it could have been far worse, the incident served as a humorous reminder of how quickly a training error can transform into a viral moment. The BBC assured everyone that they meant no offense, but it certainly left viewers questioning whether the trainee responsible was harboring some hidden opinions about the Premier League club. Number 8. Steve Harvey's famous bungle. Steve Harvey, known for his smooth comedic chops and charismatic hosting, made an unforgettable blunder that would stick with him forever. At the climax of Miss Universe 2015, he confidently announced Colombia's Ariadna Gutierrez as the winner, and the crown was placed on her head to a cheering audience. But moments later, Harvey awkwardly shuffled back onto the stage with a grim expression and revealed that he had made a mistake.
I have to apologize.
Gutierrez was, in fact, the first runner-up, while the real winner was the Philippines' Pia Wurtzbach. Harvey had misread the results card due to first runner-up being right beside Gutierrez's name, leading to the now infamous mix-up. The cringeworthy error made headline news worldwide and became an internet sensation, with memes and videos capturing the stunned reactions of Gutierrez and Wurtzbach. Despite Harvey's immediate apology, the incident continued to shadow him for years, marking one of the most talked-about live TV fails. He was partially spared from the spotlight 14 months later when Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway mistakenly announced the wrong Best Picture winner at the 89th Academy Awards. Number 7. Instant Karma. In a memorable display of instant karma, a live TV reporter found herself in extreme pain after a grape-stomping challenge went awry. Competing against her opponent, she mischievously tried to gain the upper hand by signaling for her to pause briefly. But instead of securing victory, the reporter slipped and fell face first onto the ground. The moment she landed, it became clear she was in serious pain. Her agonizing cries echoed across the vineyard, capturing the attention of everyone around and leaving viewers cringing and empathetic all at once. Though many of us might instinctively mask the severity of an injury to appear unfazed, the overwhelming pain shattered any illusion as she wiggled in discomfort. The segment's abrupt end, with the anchor awkwardly stating the obvious about the reporter's injury, left everyone feeling both sympathetic and amused by the ironic twist. Number 6. Mariah Carey's New Year's show. On December 31, 2016, Mariah Carey joined the ranks of awkward live TV moments with her cringeworthy New Year's Eve performance. She was set to sing Emotions and We Belong Together on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest, but things quickly fell apart. During Emotions, she couldn't hear the backing track due to technical difficulties. Instead of powering through, she wandered around the stage aimlessly while occasionally talking to the audience in a passive-aggressive tone. Meanwhile, her dancers tried to keep the show going, twirling and smiling as a strange whistle note played from the speakers. By the time she got to We Belong Together, the performance was a hilarious disaster. She barely lip-synced, letting the pre-recorded vocals do most of the work while she sporadically sang a few lines. The audience seemed confused, and Carey's frustration was palpable. After the show, Carey and her team blamed the technical crew for the audio issues, while the show's production team insisted that everything had worked correctly. Number 5. With great power. Touchscreen technology is undeniably impressive, and meteorologist Greg Dutra learned that firsthand during a morning weather update at WLS-TV's Chicago studio. Dutra was delivering his forecast when he gestured at the screen and accidentally manipulated the live presentation. Surprised and delighted, he reacted with the enthusiasm of a kid in a candy shop who just found the keys. The discovery of the touchscreen functionality filled him with infectious joy, and soon anchor Terrell Brown joined in on the fun, playfully experimenting with the technology to the amusement of viewers. The screen became a playground of sorts, with Dutra and Brown cheerfully navigating the new toy. Their excitement proved contagious as they turned an everyday weather forecast into a spontaneous, memorable moment that captured the imagination of their audience. Number 4. Sinead O'Connor rips up a photo on SNL. Sinead O'Connor was at the pinnacle of her career in the early 1990s, dominating the music scene with her hit single, Nothing Compares to You, which topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 4 weeks. But on the night of October 3, 1992, everything changed. While performing Bob Marley's War on Saturday Night Live, she made a bold statement by ripping up a photo of Pope John Paul II, intending to protest abuse within the Catholic Church. The move ignited an immediate backlash. NBC received thousands of complaints, and celebrities like Joe Pesci and Madonna openly criticized her actions. The uproar was deafening, and her career took a nosedive almost overnight. O'Connor was suddenly a pariah in the industry, with radio stations refusing to play her music and public outrage pushing her to the fringes of mainstream popularity. Though her act was meant to raise awareness about a serious issue, the intense criticism effectively ended her reign as a chart-topping pop star. Number 3. Ashlee Simpson dances off stage. Poor Ashlee Simpson will never live this one down. In October of 2004, she appeared as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live to promote her debut album, Autobiography. She flawlessly performed her hit single, Pieces of Me, the first time around. But when the band was ready for her second performance, something went terribly wrong. As the opening notes for Autobiography began, the pre-recorded vocals of Pieces of Me echoed through the speakers instead. Simpson, visibly panicked and not knowing what to do, broke into a confused, awkward dance before disappearing off stage, leaving her band bewildered. The incident quickly became infamous. Simpson's lip-syncing and cringeworthy exit were met with widespread ridicule, and the gaffe was parodied relentlessly across media. The backlash damaged her credibility as a performer and overshadowed the album's success. Despite the embarrassment and career setback, Simpson took it in stride and owned up to the error in subsequent interviews. Number 2. Today in sports, the weather. Tony Armstrong may have been a star on the Australian rules football field, but in July he proved his adaptability extends beyond sports. As a sports presenter on News Breakfast, Armstrong found himself unexpectedly filling in for weatherman Nate Byrne, who was nowhere to be found when anchor Joe O'Brien handed the program over for the forecast. The camera quickly cut back to Armstrong, who was left to improvise his way through the weather report. With a smile and impressive on-the-fly thinking, Armstrong tackled the unexpected task, blending his sports knowledge with light-hearted banter. He acknowledged the sudden switch-up and managed to riff his way through a vague prediction about the day's conditions. Though the segment was more chaotic than informative, Armstrong's playful efforts and the behind-the-scenes scrambling to make it work created an unexpectedly entertaining moment. Number 1. The Balloon Boy Hoax. Live TV is often gripping, capturing both the nation's curiosity and occasionally its disappointments. On October 15, 2009, America was glued to their screens as a gas balloon floated through the air with a 6-year-old boy allegedly trapped inside. The balloon drifted for miles across Colorado as anxious viewers and rescue teams waited for a safe landing. The story took a dramatic turn when the boy was discovered in his family's attic, sparking suspicions of a hoax. These suspicions were seemingly confirmed during a live interview with Wolf Blitzer, where the boy revealed that his family did this for the show. An affidavit later concluded that the parents had staged the incident to drum up interest in future media interests. Despite the allegations, the Heaney family consistently denied orchestrating a hoax. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.